Hello, friends. This is Chandrakant from Akulmach, and today's headline is that Perseverance has touched down successfully on the surface of Mars, and it's really a big deal. Why it's a big deal? Because I was awake whole night watching the live stream from NASA. Minute by minute, they were showing, how things are progressing, and this is one of the biggest spacecraft that the NASA has sent to Mars, bigger than the previous one, and it has basically a lot of other experiments which are included into this one. So we will actually talk very briefly about those. But as far as my knowledge goes, Perseverance is a part of a mega project by NASA where they want to actually bring samples back to Earth without sending humans. So it's a very specialized, high-tech, groundbreaking robotic mission. Perseverance is the first leg of that mission. There will be a second one in 2026, and finally, the samples will arrive on Earth by 2031. And I think we can be mesmerized by all this effort which has been put in by a lot of these scientists while preparing for this mission. And one name which immediately comes to our mind is the Indian connection with this whole project, and that is Dr. Swati Mohan. She was just 1 year old when she reached US, and at the age of 9, she saw the Star Trek serial, and she then made up her mind to get into the space tech arena, and finally she landed at NASA. Now she is the person who designed the whole landing mechanism of this particular spacecraft, and the and also supervised the whole landing procedure for Perseverance. And why this is a big deal? Because first of all, you're traveling for 7 months. The spacecraft is traveling from for 7 months. It's at a considerable speed, so you need to first slow down the speed and get your spacecraft into orbit. Once it gets into orbit, then you have to slowly descend on the surface. The problem on the Mars is that the air pressure or the atmosphere is just 1% of the Earth atmosphere. So when you're sending your probe down to the surface, there is obviously some air which will heat up the spacecraft, but it does not give enough pressure to slow it down. So that is why this whole process is so different from landing a spacecraft on Earth or on Moon. It is a totally different ball game, and you have to angle the spaceship in such a way that it heats up, but it does not burn up. At the same time, it has to slow down, because if it does not slow down, it cannot deploy the other mechanisms which are there to successfully land the spaceship. So basically, that is why the supervision of this person was so important. She successfully landed the spacecraft on Mars, and for the first time, they have also used the sky elevators. It is it's because this Perseverance spacecraft is much bigger than the previous ones, which landed on Mars. It's almost the twice the size, and it has a lot of payload. So this time they have used something called sky elevator, which is nothing but a bunch of rockets which will slowly descend the spaceship on the ground. And once it detects that the spaceship has reached the ground, it will snap and then go away. So this is a very remarkable system. It consisting of a parachute and a sky elevator. Finally, it landed successfully the Perseverance aircraft. Now let's look at what is so special about this spacecraft. This has many experiment. Many of these experiments also includes a drill, and the drill is something which will collect up to 40 samples over the period of next 80 months of its operation. And but it does not need to drill at all the locations. It has a lot of sensors. So the spacecraft is basically explore a old crater which we feel was filled with water. As far as our data goes, whatever research NASA has done so far, So they want to really examine the signs of ancient life or water. So it will go around and use its sensors to identify which place to drill, and then it will drill and collect a sample, store the sample after sanitizing it, because it does not want the any microbe from Mars or Earth to contaminate the sample. It will sanitize it and store it, and that will be the job of this Perseverance. In addition to that, Perseverance is also going with a unique device, and it's the first time a powered flight will be tested on the surface of Mars. This has been designed as a helicopter which is specifically designed to fly in a low air pressure environment like Mars. It has a specific design. The rotors moves very fast, very light weight spacecraft, and it has its own power. It has solar cell which generate the lithium ion battery on board, and it will take off for 90 seconds after each charge, film the surface, tell the rover about the things which are ahead, and then there will be a AI based decision making system which will work. So this is just an experiment whether we can take off or land a powered flight on an alien world. So this is just the first one which is going to come up. This device will be deployed after a month of operation. The other thing is the drill bit itself. This has been designed specifically for Mars, and it also collects the sample. When it drills, it actually collects the rock sample, and then there is a process in the spacecraft itself to sanitize it, store them in a nice jar which is sanitized using some technology, and it will be stored until 2026, until the time that the next spacecraft land, that will have a collector of these samples. So these samples will be dropped at a designated area. The next spacecraft which will land in 2026 on Mars will collect all those biles and shoot them out back to Earth. So that is the second phase, and the third phase will be to collect those samples back and bring them to Earth. So that is the last phase, which will finish in 1931. So it's a very long drawn space mission which NASA has embarked. And there is one very unique experiment which they are carrying this time, and that is the oxygen generator. Now, oxygen generator is not something new. The astronauts and cosmonauts have been going to space for last 50, 60 years, and they have been converting the water into oxygen for their breathing purpose. So, there are different oxygen generation techniques which have been used in the past. But this time, they are sending a totally new experiment along with Perseverance, which is going to use the atmosphere of Mars, which is, as we know, is rich in carbon dioxide. So, with using the electricity, this device will convert oxygen directly from the atmosphere. So, convert the carbon dioxide into carbon monoxide and then divide them into ionized oxygen uh, atoms, which will then combine together. Two oxygen atoms will combine and to become O2 to form oxygen gas. So this is going to produce 1 kilogram of oxygen every hour using the power which is being given by the uh, Perseverance uh, uh, Perseverance spaceship. So this is just an experiment, and it's also one of the steps whether we can convert the oxygen or the the CO2 which is presence in the present in the atmosphere of Mars directly into oxygen for breathing purpose in future when the human expedition happens. So this is a very important experiment Perseverance is carrying. So with this, it's a great news. I think I thought I will cover this very briefly because I was excited about this. I spent I burned the midnight oil watching the live stream happening from NASA, and saw the entire occurrence live. And there is an Indian connection, uh, and I was quite excited that there was an Indian person who actually designed the landing system, which is so complex, and also supervised landing the Perseverance successfully. So with this, I end my discussion today. Do engage with me, friends. Write in, and any suggestions you have for our future video, it's most welcome. Until next time, bye bye.